Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to another lovely episode of Women of Color in Business. As you know, our platform is designed to provide a sisterhood circle and a safe place where entrepreneurs who are just getting started or who have been in business for years can come, can listen in, can learn, can be inspired and motivated, and understand that we are not alone. We go through the same experiences, we have the same questions, and hopefully today we'll share some answers with you that you've been seeking. So I'm going to let my guest begin by introducing herself and her business.
Thank you. Well, I am Christian Watts, but most know me as Chrissy Watts. And I am the Philly native, mom, photographer, community volunteer, hood advocate, you name it, multifaceted founder of Philly
Wonderful.
Experiences.
Okay. And what does Philly Experiences do?
So it's a full service all year round brand that amplifies everything Blackness. So I amplify Black intersectionality. So I use tours, events, party buses, wellness sessions to tap into everything we need to survive, thrive, build, support our Black businesses for locals and visitors.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I love that you're so expansive. So tell us a little bit about your Philly tours. Tell us about that part of your business.
Yes. So the tours started, I started the brand probably like 2018-ish as a little pet project, something to do on the weekend. And I started with a bar crawl. The tour started in 2019 when I realized that, okay, nightlife is working out. Let's see what happens if I can tap into the daytime tourism market, because I saw a bunch of walking tours being led from the white perspective throughout
Oh, yeah.
Philadelphia, downtown, the touristy areas.
Yes.
And I figured, well, how come no one's telling our story? And
Mm.
so what will happen? What story will I tell? I don't know what I'm doing, but let's just see what will happen if I tested out a theory on getting visitors to come to the city and to enjoy the city like a local, and actually get an opportunity to talk with the local who's very honest about her upbringing, her life, her experience in the city. And it worked out. So now I host uh, a lot of walking tours.
Oh, wow.
Yes, there's quite a few of them, but all of them feature Black murals around the city. We have over 4,000
Oh,
throughout
wow.
the city of Philadelphia. And so I intentionally highlight those of Black locals and Black heroes and Black celebrities, mainly by Black artists, but it really doesn't matter as long as they're Black faces all throughout.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. I love that. And do you do any tours that go to Black businesses, Black restaurants, that type of
Yep.
thing? Okay.
Yes. So
Wonderful.
we have to, because this city is a large city. I don't know if we're fifth or sixth. It keeps changing. I don't know
Oh,
who we're
wow.
competing with, but we're one of the largest city, and we're still a majority Black city. Yet only 4% of our businesses here are owned by us. And so the
Ah,
intent was, if I can get people out of downtown Philly into the majority Black neighborhoods to support the majority Black businesses, I've done my job. So all of my tours, we intentionally support local Black businesses.
beautiful. I love that. I love that. Okay, and so what else? Tell us about something else your business does besides the tours. What
Yeah,
else do
so
you
the
do?
layers of tours, I have a 2 hour tour, 3 hour tour, 4 hour tour. My 4 hour tour is my new Uptown Soul and Food Tour. So that way you
Ah,
do get to shop Black businesses and eat delicious soul food in
okay
my
now.
neighborhood. Yeah, exactly. We gotta
I
eat,
want
we
that
love to eat.
tour. I'm gonna have to book that tour. That sounds good, sister. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
And I love it. We support at least 7 Black businesses. One ticket supports 7 Black businesses. Like,
Wow.
okay, that's
Beautiful.
insane.
Beautiful that
And
is.
keep counting. Um,
Right.
so I'm
And how
testing it
long have
out
you
now.
been doing that tour?
I just started. So it was supposed to happen at the beginning of the summer, but we went through the wildfires and air
Ah,
quality. Then we walked into July's heat wave. And then
Right.
September is always slow. So I finally launched it Labor Day weekend.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's brand new. I had a soul food tour before, but I knew logistically it wasn't going to work out the way I wanted it to, and so it only lasted a couple of rounds. And I think that was 2019. So I knew it was always going to come back because I know
Got
soul
you.
food means a lot to us.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah,
Yes, and Philly is one of those places where you go when you want to know what's the best place to eat. There
yes,
I want to experience the food. So where's the best place? And there's nothing better than to have a native of the
yep,
city take you around. Who wouldn't dream of that? And I
all
love that
right,
it's a 4 hour tour. So tell me
exactly.
about what do you take your clients through for that 4 hours?
So on this 4 hour experience, because it's
Yes.
always more than a tour, because I
Yes.
tap into all the emotions, right?
Okay.
And so we start at a restaurant owned by a Black woman, Tanya, who dedicated this restaurant to her son who was shot and killed on the highway.
Mm.
Right. So being able to
Mm-hmm.
hear from this mother and how she put her passion and how she's surviving by feeding the community in her food, right? Like it started off just
Yes.
impactful right away.
Right.
And then
Right.
from there we shop local owned boutiques. So you get a chance to actually meet shop owners, which you don't often get a chance to do while you're out shopping, even now in your regular everyday life. Imagine you had the chance to actually chit chat and build community with the people who started the vision of owning that business.
Yes.
So we stop at a boutique. We go to the first Black man owned fine art gallery in the city. He gives us a speech and a tour of his amazing work from Stephen
Wow.
at Ubuntu. And we still have other businesses connecting. We passed by Uncle Bobby's, which is owned by Mark Lamont Hill. Um, we go to two Jamaican restaurants. The restaurants will be changing. We'll see.
Right.
We'll see how many I
Right.
can cram in there because I can do this all
Right.
day. As of the last tour, we stop at two Jamaican restaurants so you compare. It's like a compare and contrast
Yes.
of
Right.
the newbie in the area and the old school Jamaican restaurant in the area. So you get to try fresh sorrel, fresh ginger juice, eat
Ah.
delicious rice and beans, right? Then
Uh-huh.
we stop at um, Cluck and Gill, which they have delicious, amazing crab fries. So you get a little bit of everything.
Ah,
Come on this
nice.
tour with any dietary restrictions because I can't help you. Come ready to eat.
Got you.
Allow me to be your cheat day or week or
Yes.
whatever.
Yes. So is there Philly steak and cheese somewhere on this tour?
Philly cheesesteak is not on this tour. Could it
Okay.
be added? It would be hard based on where
Right.
we are. I feel like so when I originally started my bar crawl, it was called Cheesesteak and Trap Music because I took you to my favorite or the
Cheesesteak.
cities, I should say, not even mine, favorite
Got you.
cheesesteak place in the city. So I do recommend places all the time where people
Got
can
you.
go. And they
Got
usually
you.
go after my other walk-in tours. So it's not
Got you.
included on this one. I really wouldn't put cheesesteak as soul food, even though
Got
anything
you.
made with black hands has soul in it.
Right, right.
I
But I
usually go to
get your point. You have
yeah,
designed this to be a soul food tour. So
yeah,
and
traditional soul food.
cheesesteak is iconic for Philadelphia, but when you're
Yeah,
talking about soul food, so it's a totally different experience.
yes,
So for a tourist who wants cheesesteak, you can tell them where to go, but your
yes,
experience is tailored to something totally different, which I love. Beautiful,
yes. The
beautiful.
blackness.
Yes, the blackness. Okay. So you said in your business you do tours and you do other things. You do tell us a little more about the other things you do.
Yes. This year I actually released to the public my Afro Beats and Heal session as a way for us to get out in nature. What I struggled with, all tours are curated through personal struggles that people resonate with, thankfully.
Yes.
And so I struggle with trying to attend any type of class was the time limit. I'm introverted. No one believes me because I own a tour company, but I'm very much, I think before I speak. I have a conversation in my head before I have one with the world. I'm socially awkward. I miss social cues. And so for me, attending something that's supposed to be an hour doesn't work because by the time I get comfortable, class is over and then everybody's going on about their lives. And so I wanted to create something surrounded by my love of Afro beats and how music just saves my life all the time. I offer tools for being able to tap into ourselves and feel safe again. And so we do deep breathing, earthing, so we can get bare feet, put our feet in the grass if people are comfortable. We're out in nature at a local neighborhood park, and we get into guided, well, gentle stretching, full body stretching. It's not yoga. I do not, yoga hurts for me. So I call it pre-yoga. So it's for all body types. It gets you to just move just a little, open up, move the energy around in your body. Then we get into guided meditation. And then at the end, instead of class being over, we sit down and we have a mental health check-in. Allow people to just say what's on their heart, release something into the earth, whether it's tears, whether it's frustration, whether it's anger, whether it's excitement, whether they need to be celebrated for something amazing that happened in their life and no one congratulated them yet, right? It's just a space for them to just whatever that is. And it's open to everyone. We had all backgrounds come out. Whoever loves Afro beats is open to come out to Afro beats and heal. So that's seasonal because it's in nature.
Right.
I did create a indoor retreat version of it last year that went from instead of 90 minutes in nature, we did 4 hours in a Black-owned event space. So I do have both versions. I just don't know if the retreat is happening anytime soon.
Got you.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And I love, and you said it was born from personal struggles. And you said music has saved your life. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I had dealt with so much trauma before I was a preteen that I had no interest of being a teenager or an adult. So I tried to take myself out of here several times. So I'm a multiple suicide survivor. And I will say, it's such a cute story now, but one of my friends in high school was having a Sweet 16 party at a club, and I begged my mom to go. And somehow she said yes. My mom was so super overprotective, wouldn't let us do anything anywhere. And so this is my first time entering this atmosphere where it's dark. There's lights are flashing, the speakers, the bass. Like I have never felt so alive, and I couldn't wait to turn 18. Well, 17 because we had a club here called Chrome Nightclub that was 17 to get in. And when I turned 17, I was in there all the time. For me, the club saved my life because it showed me a collective of happy Black people all the time.
Wow.
Like there's never a bad day. There were rarely any fights. If there were, they were over something stupid. Security took care of it, out the way. Everybody went back to being happy. And so growing up in such a traumatizing environment, seeing that, that I could either pay to get in or it's free to get in, I was addicted to going. So I was at Margarita Monday, $2 Tuesday, Woody's on Wednesday, $1 Thursday. I was in the club long out to be because I was just happy to see us being happy and it not being a big reason for it to be, right? A wedding, a reunion, a barbecue. This was every single weekend. The doors was open. It changed and became my new church without me knowing it.
Wow, that is beautiful. Now, was this a Black-owned club?
No, but this city is majority Black, so we was in there.
Gotcha. We created the atmosphere in there.
Here.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. That's beautiful. I would have never, I'm so glad you shared that because I wouldn't have never connected such an experience to being in a club.
I know.
What you found there was Black joy being represented all the time, and that energy is what drew you back. Just to be immersed in that feeling. That's a beautiful thing. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
I
Once it
appreciate
hit
that.
me, while I was doing, while I was curating and putting together these experiences. I think I
Right,
said it in the middle of a tour one day where I was like, yeah, it's the club. Like people have all this negative, like I
right,
never knew the club was considered a meat market and that's where people went to go and get hooked up with each other. I never knew that. Like I
right.
was literally in there zoned in. I was happy to
Exactly.
see the same faces. Nobody knew each other's name, but we were literally family. We was happy to see each other, hug, enjoy, dance. It wasn't too inappropriate, right? It's a couple of guys slapping you in the butt, but I paid them back.
Beautiful,
And
beautiful. And that's a great point because a lot of places, a lot of spaces we go in or experiences we have, um, sometimes we realize we had a, excuse me, we had a
mhm,
totally different experience for what most people have in that same space. And we're like, oh, really?
yep.
That's what it's about, you know? Because even like a college experience, you may hear some people say, you know, something negative about a college experience, and you're in the same
Hmm.
space at the same time, and your experience was totally different
Yeah.
because of what your focus and energy was. So I
Yep.
love that you say that. You're right. Most people think of someone going to the club, like you said, you were there all the time. They would think, you know, what amount of time is she wasting, and why is she there? Because people
Right.
usually go there for A, B, C, D, you know.
Right.
But yours
Exactly.
was a totally healing and spiritual purpose. So I hope
Yes.
that just that information opens someone's eyes to areas where we tend to be judgmental,
Hmm.
where we don't have any idea of what other people are experiencing or going through, to just
Hmm.
release that judgment and become more
Hmm.
open, you know, to seeing what could possibly be there. So I love that you shared that for that reason.
Yes. Thank
Beautiful,
you. It
beautiful.
reminds me, I used to work at one of my many jobs was at the supermarket. And it was something that our training manager said it was a woman. I can't remember her name. But she opened my eyes of like we're not the only ones existing, right? Like our one lens is not the truth. It's not
Yes,
everyone's truth, I should say. It's our truth in the moment. But she working in a supermarket just seemed like something easy to do. But she said, no, you have people walking in here who just lost a loved one and now they have to get the food for their repast and they're
ah,
not all emotionally there. You have
ah,
someone celebrating a graduation. You have like she started breaking down all the scenarios of why people buy food and how and just us as Black people, right? I eat my emotions now, right? I
right,
eat when I'm happy, I eat when I'm sad, I eat when I
right.
eat when and so
There's a
hearing her
food to fit every emotion.
it sure is. And and that taught me empathy of like
Yes,
being careful because I just started watching people more and being nicer, intentionally more nicer because we don't know why they're in there. They're barely holding it together. We don't know what happened that led
yes,
them to this market. And so, yes, I hope people see that in our kind in general because that's everywhere we are. We don't know if
exactly.
someone in traffic just got bad news, just lost their
Yes,
job, just got a text message that changed their life and they can barely drive the car to their destination.
right.
Right? Like it was just that one seed planted the empathy that I have now to do what I'm doing.
That's so beautiful because you're right. We never know what someone else is going through. And if we just look at life from our perspective and how we are feeling in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
that's very selfish. And kindness is so easy to extend to just assume, okay, let me just give them grace. I don't have to know the details of why they're
Right.
driving slow today. I don't have to know why they missed their turn or they didn't use their turn signal and they turn at the last minute. I don't need to know. I just need to know they're another human being. So,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it might be, let me just give them grace.
Yes.
Beautiful. I love that. So, how long has your business been in business? How long have you been in business? When did you first start some aspect
Technically,
of your business?
right. Technically 2018. I didn't
Okay,
make it official LLC until a couple years ago, like in the
gotcha.
pandemic, the BLM movement and the conversations I was able to have with my guests, like while the riots are happening, I'm hosting tours. So we're in the middle
Wow.
of it. We get to see the aftermath
Right.
And just those conversations, I was like, there is something here that has to keep going. I'm
Yeah.
the only person that I know of in this city willing to have the uncomfortable conversations and not whitewash my stories or sugarcoat them, because they're my
Uh,
lived experience and nobody can argue with what I've been through.
yes.
Um, I knew it was needed. The feedback that I got, the personal private messages that I received after the tour, with guests being emotional, the messages I still receive now from guests years ago. It's like, I still think about your tour. It was something that you said that did X, Y, Z. That made me feel like, okay, I'll tell the government that I'm out here. I'll pay taxes, sure. Because I saw the growth. That's why I named it Philly Experiences. I've been challenged because I named it Philly Experiences. People have asked, how come you don't call it Philly Black Experiences? How come you don't something? I'm like, because I wanted to be an umbrella company where every side of us that is experiencing this city in this time now, I should be able to create an experience around it, whether it's happy, whether it's healing, whether it's ratchet and we just feel like getting loose, right? Just being in the age of enjoying everything about us and seeing ourselves in community. I didn't want to limit it based on having
Gotcha.
to niche down, as they say. It didn't make sense, or it didn't sit with me because I'm not a niche. I'm
Okay.
expansive.
Uh-huh. Beautiful. Beautiful. So you gave yourself license to create what you felt from your soul should be created, as opposed to what other people thought or other people's opinions of what should
Yes.
be created. That's very powerful. Very powerful. So what would you say was your greatest challenge in getting your business started?
Well, it already started in 2018. I just
Mm-hmm.
never saw it as a business because once I launched the Cheesesteak and Trap Music Bar Crawl, I was on Airbnb Experiences platform. So that's where I got started. And so they did all the work. They did the
Okay.
marketing, right? Once people booked the Airbnb in Philly, they sent out an email saying, well, here's what locals are offering. And so it was
Ah,
easy, right? They just either they like it or they don't. They chose me or they didn't. And
right.
so that was life was easy. I didn't feel like I was in a business. I couldn't believe people were actually willing to pay to come drink with me on their vacation. I was like, this is lit. Right? I was so
Right.
fortunate. And this is
Uh-huh.
just a side hustle because I was already working full time, 50 hours a week, and just I was still a mom and like still had
Uh-huh.
other stuff going on. I'm like, this is not a business. It
Uh-huh.
wasn't until the pandemic where I had time to sit and still have those conversations where I realized, okay, it's a business. And since I've said that 2, 3 years ago, that's the part that's been the most challenging, is that now that I've acknowledged this, it feels like a much bigger mountain to climb because there's
Ah,
so many more responsibilities that I didn't
yes.
ask for, because
Right.
I realized I don't like to work. I like to
Uh-huh.
be the talent because that doesn't feel like work, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't like all the back end stuff. And I know that's what most entrepreneurs are going to complain about. I raise my hand as one of them. Can't stand it. But here we are.
Got you, got you. So when you started off, it was from the fun and the passion of it, but then to
Mm-hmm.
to structure it as a business mean, okay,
Mm-hmm.
now this back end work I have to do to keep this
Yes.
going. Totally
Yes.
understood. You're correct in that a lot of entrepreneurs, they we want to do what our passion led us to do, but then we
Yep.
have to do the other side too to keep it together as a business. So very good point. Very good point. So when you started your business, were there any entrepreneurs in your family before that you could look to, or any mentors that you have looked to in your business journey? Or how have you learned about your business or staying in business? Has it been a on the job training process?
Oh yeah. I am the youngest girl, and then my brother's is the youngest, period, out of my mom's children. And yet I'm the first in my household to do a lot of firsts. And I had
Uh-huh.
to unpack the resentment of that because I
Okay.
have big sisters that I feel like, should have
Uh-huh.
passed down certain things. I was the first one in my family to get my license, to buy a car, to move out, to get my first apartment, to go to college, to start a business, to have a baby. Like, that's a
Wow.
lot.
That is a lot.
Yes.
Wow.
So no, I had no one to lean on. I mean, I call my sisters and complain, or call my
Uh-huh.
sisters and cry, ask for money because I don't know what I'm doing. Like that. So I love my sisters and my brother. And my brother helped me out with whatever, and my mom. But no, I had no one to turn to. I was in denial. I was like, oh, this is just fun. This is just play money. It's no
Uh-huh.
big deal. I was
Right.
going out anyway. Now people are just paying to come hang with me. This is not a business, right?
Uh-huh.
And then when 2021 hit, realizing like, oh, outside is going to be changed forever, just how people feel about life. I decided, well, I'll take this downtime because it doesn't look like anything's going to happen anytime soon, meaning like we're getting back out, we can take our mask off, whatever. I would
Right.
just join a business cohort. There were a couple of virtual cohorts happening in the city. And I was like, the fact that it's virtual, sign me up. I'll see what they're talking about, see if I like it. It was free. And that's where I really realized that I didn't know what I was doing.
Uh-huh.
That there's so many players, and that I couldn't even explain what my business is the way
Mm.
that I have been able to today at the beginning of
Uh-huh.
this conversation. I couldn't even explain it then. I was just like, I host events. I just want people to come together. I just flustered trying to explain what I did. And now
Yes.
I much easier.
That's beautiful. That is so true. I've had that experience too, because your thought process and your feeling process about what you're doing is what is more in sync as a feeling than as something you can describe in
Mm-hmm.
terms of the things like when they say an elevator pitch. You don't have
Yes.
an elevator pitch for it, but you have a concrete feeling for it, right?
Yep.
These resources and courses, like you say, or a cohort or somewhere that challenges you to put it into words, where it's concise and you can explain to other people. You have to go through this thought process that then allows you, oh, okay, this is what it is. Okay, this is how I can say that. Okay, this is how I can explain it. But it is a
Yep.
process. So that's very key for other entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs to hear, because a lot of times we feel like if we can't articulate it on the spot, then it's not legitimate. If we can't
Mm-hmm.
articulate it on the spot, then and all these other people can, that are in the room, we don't realize they've been working on it for a while, right?
Oh yeah.
And when you're just getting started, so it's going to take you a while before you get to that point where you can just say it like that. So I think aspiring entrepreneurs need to hear that and realize it doesn't mean that what you want to do or what you're starting to do is not legitimate. It just means you have a process to go through until you refine it to where you can just say it in 2 or 3 sentences. So that doesn't
Absolutely.
come in day one. The
No.
feeling comes in day one, the passion comes in day one, but that explanation comes down the line. So thank you for sharing that too. Great, great point. So in being in business, you said since 2018 was when you started the bar in the what was it, trap?
Yeah, cheesesteak and trap music bar
Cheesesteak and
crawl.
okay. So being in business for that many years, what would you say you love most about being an entrepreneur?
Getting in front of the people. I've always been this is something that ties into what we just talked about for entrepreneurs that are listening. I've always been a problem solver. I've always was about solutions. And I feel like most of the problems, if not all, can be solved in this whole entire world. And I wanted to save the world at one point. Like there's easy solutions for everything. There's an antidote to everything. There's a kryptonite to everything, right?
Yeah.
That's just how the world is created. And knowing that I am a problem solver, what a struggle that I will say happens is how many or how profitable is the problem I'm trying to solve? Yeah, so I struggle with that because before
very
I
key.
did this,
Yeah.
I was a storyteller via being a photographer. So I shot fashions, I shot weddings, I shot events. And so if I took what I knew now and put into what I love doing with photography, I can also make that a very profitable business.
Right.
So it's hard sometimes to decide like, well, where are all these amazing skills going to go? What bucket makes sense? And I want the entrepreneurs to understand that you're not crazy. See you.
Thank you.
And go into the one that will have the most impact if you feel like you're supposed to be an impact entrepreneur. Not all businesses are supposed to be impactful. There's someone selling folding chairs.
Yes. Yes.
Okay? There's someone making $1 million selling balloons, right?
Yes.
There's a small problem, but they're still helping someone. So long as you know you're in service, no matter how silly the service is, even if you sell gag gifts all day, that'd be a genius business for someone, right? Who can just sell funny birthday cards, right? There's so many businesses out there. So don't get overwhelmed and feel like yours is silly or the market is oversaturated. If the market is oversaturated, I'll just say raise your prices. Rather separate.
I like that. I like that. Very nice. So have you had any struggle with pricing your services?
I was winging it. So I just researched what was happening in downtown Philly and I just matched my prices to theirs at first. Okay. And I was like, well, if they're willing to pay $39 for a tour, then they're going to be willing to pay $10 for my tour. I didn't think like I'm a newbie, maybe I should charge less. I was like, no, I think if I get enough feedback, and Airbnb experiences test number back then was if you can get up to 7 reviews, if you get 7 good reviews, you should be fine from there. Right? That's all people need. That was their market research number was 7. You get 7 great reviews, you're good. And I was like, bet. And
I love that.
Kind of true, kind of not true, right? Because that's what it took. I was so terrified that people were going to be able to review me. That scared me. Yeah, that scared me. I did not like being noticed. I don't like being talked about. I don't like anything. I don't like to say anything negative.
Says the tour operator. I'm gonna guide you and tell you about all this stuff. But
that's why I was hiding behind the camera though for so many years. Yeah. Right? I was like, I can just hide back here.
But you know there's something brilliant about that. There's something very brilliant about the fact that you were able to find the courage, find the passion to override, find the bravery to do what you were feeling you wanted to do in spite of having spent so much time behind the scene. You know, because a lot of people will be like, I'm just not comfortable doing that. I'm not going to go ahead. And sometimes it's just blind passion or blind inspiration that guides us, you know. So I love that we get to hear where you started from, you know, and you're even saying still today, you know, I don't like to be seen, but you're being seen so much in what you do. But I understand your point. It's a totally different kind of scene. Like it's okay for me to be seen doing what I'm passionate about, but to be judged is a totally different, you know, lane for me. So I love that. Go ahead.
The phrase that got me to do most of the stuff I had to do up until this point, and that I need to remind myself often, is if it scares you to do it scared. Once someone said that at a yoga retreat that I went to, led by a Black woman, an amazing Black woman. She was the founder of a company called Yogi Tree. I don't know if she's still operating. And once I heard that, I never thought of doing it scared. It didn't make sense. I just thought if you did it,
Right.
you had to be sure. But
Yes.
I was like, why not? I said, what I'm going to do, I'm going to challenge myself. This feels right to get out of my comfort zone for the sake of the people that were coming here. Because when I traveled, I took my first international solo trip by happy accident, and I ended up in Barbados in 2017.
Ah.
And the extroverted me showed up in Barbados. But halfway
Oh,
through the trip, all my extroverted energy left, and I went
gotcha.
back to my introverted
Gotcha.
self. And I became lonely. I'm on this beautiful island, standing in pink sand, looking at crystal blue water. And I wish I had a friend here. I wish I had a local that can like give me more context to what I'm seeing and show me
Right.
around. I didn't want to take a traditional tour. I didn't want to stay even at a resort. I intentionally stayed at an Airbnb to make sure I was
Mhm.
supporting a local. And when I had that thought on that beach, literally it dropped on me. I said, oh my God, there's probably some single solo traveler in Philly right now wishing the same thing. They saw
Wow.
all the sights. Now what? What
Right.
else is happening? They heard that Jill Scott is from here, but where? They heard
Right.
Meek Mill got in trouble on Broad Street, but what part of Broad Street? They heard, right? Like they like it's
Yes.
so much to it. That I was like, okay, I feel responsible to do this. I'm not sure how yet because Airbnb experiences didn't exist in Philadelphia, but I just knew something was coming while in another country for Philadelphia, which is still
Mm.
crazy to say.
Right. That
Just
is.
do it scared, do it hungry, do it afraid, do it with a shaky voice. This
Yes.
my tours with a shaky voice, and just admit it. I'm nervous. I just say it. If I'm going to get in front of a group of people, I just hurry up and say, all right, y'all, I'm nervous. So let's get through this together. And I make it laugh and everybody laugh and they usually clap. And I'm like, fit. And
Beautiful.
just announce it. Just let them know what you're feeling.
Yes. I love that. That's very key. You do it scared because like you, I used to think that people that get things done, they're always confident. And if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
confident yet, then maybe I'm not ready to get it done. But that's not
Mm-hmm.
true because fear is something that it's going to be there. And I heard someone say once, sometimes you have to say to fear, okay, you're either going to leave or you come along with me on this ride because I'm going on this
Right.
ride. It's like if you're going to be here, then just come on, pack your bags, come on, because I am
I
going
love
on this
that.
ride. And that is
Yeah.
so true. A lot of times we think, especially as entrepreneurs who don't know it all from day one, we're in discovery.
Yes.
Just like life is a journey. We're
Of
in the
yourself.
discovery. Yeah,
Yes.
we're in the discovery of ourselves, of the journey, of what business is about, of the particular business we're getting into. There's a lot that we're going to gather on our way, but we won't know it from day one. So if day one we think, if I'm afraid of anything, I'm not ready, we'll never be ready.
Yes.
We
And
never
what I
we
learned dealing with high anxiety, panic attacks, and a lot throughout my life is not all of it was anxiety. I learned to compartmentalize it and recognize that a lot of what I'm feeling, especially I'm about to do something, was excitement.
oh
And so I
wonderful.
started naming it, right? I
Yes.
was like, girl, we're anxious, but we're more excited. So I would say that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then that helped me breathe a lot.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
you're allowed to be excited about something. Even if you've
Right.
done it 100 times, I still get excited and nervous
Yes.
meeting guests every single weekend because it's a new set of a human experience that's coming in
Yes.
front of me. I don't know what questions they're going to ask. I don't know
Yeah.
what nerve I'm about to tap on. I don't know what insight I'm about to reveal. Right. So I
Right.
get excited for every guest, no matter if I know what I'm going to say or not, no matter how scripted, unscripted, perfectly aligned it is. I still
Right.
on my way there, I was like, again, I get to do it again.
That's beautiful. I think that's key too, because a lot of times I know, like we've heard performers who've been performing for years. Someone asks them, "Do you still get anxious before you go on stage?" And they say yes. And to your
Mm-hmm.
point, that's what they're saying. They're saying, "I get that anxious excitement." I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going on stage just calm and this is easy. I'm going because I'm excited and I love to do this. And I can't, when I get out there, I know it's going to be a totally new experience. It's a totally new crowd. So to your
Yes.
point, every anxious feeling is not a negative or scared feeling. It's an anxious, it's an excited, something unexpected is going to happen, but it's
Mm-hmm.
exciting. It's
Because
the
you really
unexpected.
want it,
Yes.
right? If we think
Yes.
about it, you really want it or you wouldn't care, right? So
Yes.
you getting anxious is just your body, your inner child, inner teen, your ego. They all come together saying, we're trying to protect her. She's not listening. So amp it up.
Yes. Yes.
We don't know what she's about to get into. This is new territory. We don't like it. Shut her
Right.
down. You got to say, no, we're excited. And like you said, get in or get out.
Yes.
So yeah, you're excited and that's okay. And
Yes.
go in there with all of it. Like I said, once
Yes.
you realize that you're only in front of a room of humans, you'll be
Yes.
okay.
Yes. And I love that you said you announce it sometimes. Okay, I'm nervous. Let's get through this together. That's a
Yep.
very good tool to utilize, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you feel like we don't have the right to be nervous, but like you said, we're humans. So just announce it and that'll help you, that'll help the people you're with, that'll help change that energy. So
Mm-hmm.
great point, great point. So you love the entrepreneur experience. You were worried about the reviews. How did your reviews go?
This is going to sound so ungrateful. When I started getting reviews,
Uh-huh.
I was so confused about why all the reviews were about me and not about the businesses I was taking them to.
Oh,
I'm like, why are they not talking about the cheesesteaks? Why aren't they talking about the music? Why aren't they talking about the bars we went to?
your expectations were that they were going to talk about the places.
It's experience, right? Like
Yes.
the actual bar crawl and all the reviews is like, I felt like I knew Chrissy forever. I wish I can take her home with me. This was so lit. Her energy is. But I was like, no, not me. Damn. And
Right, right.
my girlfriend, my best friend, said to me, she said, "Girl, shut up. This is exactly what you want. You are the experiences. All these bars and restaurants exist. They're going to exist without you, but you took them and made them see it differently, right? I took
Yes,
them to multiple locations in one night. And so, how I was able to explain each page and give them context is what they're reviewing me about. She's like, you are the
yes,
business. And I'm not trying to hear. No, I want. And so I started directing reviews. I said, so when y'all leave a review, talk about. And they didn't listen. So here we are. I'm happy to say all the reviews and all the feedback. I was open to it because I knew that's what I needed to do to be on this platform. I am a review reader. So
ah,
I was always thinking of me as a customer because I will go on Amazon and I will read all 115
yes,
before I buy this product.
yes, yes,
And so I always thought of that. And so, and the fact that generally we, Black people, don't leave reviews. So
yes,
who I was attracting, I then had to explain to them how important it was. I said, the reviews led you here.
yes,
Please let a future friend let them know exactly why you chose to do this and why you were satisfied in the night. I said,
ah,
reviews matters to us. So can you
yes,
please leave reviews? And most
yes.
of them did it drunk in their Uber on the way back to their Airbnb. I love her. Like by the time I got home, I was like, yes. So I took it. And then I reminded them a few days later, and it worked. I have a great number of reviews now. So it worked.
Beautiful, beautiful. That is so funny.
Make them leave you a review. Sign up,
Yes,
what I do regret that I didn't know, so I already forgave myself, is that I wish I got all my reviews on Google before I cared about being reviewed on Airbnb. But honestly, I probably would have never became a business if I was simply successful on Airbnb's platform, right? I just would have been happy to get all the
Right.
business from them, and I would have never created my own brand to stand alone from them. So
Right.
it worked out either way. But all the hundreds of reviews I now have on Airbnb experiences, I wish that they would transfer over.
Right.
Oh, I wish I would be happier.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that. That I just can't get over that. You when they were talking about you, you were like, no, talk about the businesses I took you to. That
Exactly.
was the experience. But they were telling you, like your friend said, you are the biggest part of the experience. Because they can go
Mm-hmm.
to those places alone, but they would never get what you can give them, that information, that
Yes.
history, that passion, that
The
you
energy, yeah.
yeah,
The
that energy,
language.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like you said, when you were alone on that beach, what you wanted is what you're giving people.
I had to become. Yes. And
Yes,
I told myself that. I said, I want to be their friend for the weekend. And
yes.
so I intentionally greeted everyone as if I have not seen them in a long time.
Oh,
Like
wow.
guests would get out of their Uber and I'd be like, hey, welcome,
Oh,
and go over and give them a hug. And
and
I
this
had
is
to
the introvert doing all this.
because so this is something that Beyonce gave us a hint of when she became Sasha Fierce, right? When she
Mhm.
said she had to create this persona,
Uh-huh.
right, to help her get through this phase of her life. So the introvert Christian stayed home while
Uh-huh.
Chrissy got ready to go out there and made sure these people had an amazing time because they intentionally chose to spend their money with me and these Black businesses. And it's too many of us to let down.
Got
Right.
you.
So it's like becoming Chrissy, that's what I had to do. I'm at work. It don't feel
Right.
like it. I get to have fun with it. I can't believe it. So let me show them how grateful I am. And there isn't a stranger that's out there, right? There's just people we haven't met yet. I can't remember
Got
who
you.
said that phrase, but I always, when I saw that, I was like, right, no one's strangers. We just haven't had a conversation yet. And so I just
Yes.
treated them like that. And then I had to learn, like, that might be a bit too much, and everybody wants to be touched by somebody they don't know. And so
Uh-huh.
now I ask for a hug. I'm like, I
Uh-huh.
still go, hey,
Uh-huh.
I'm like, you want to bring it in? And some of them were just like, no, elbow to elbow or fist bump. And that's fine by me. So I had to also learn practice more uh giving people space
Yes, yes.
and not just throwing my energy on them. And here we are. We've grown. But by the end, right? By the end of that 4 hours, it was the opposite. And it was them going, oh my God, I can't believe it. I love you, and we're gonna be friends forever. And come visit me in my city, or come do this. And I wish we had this. And I'm like, oh, that's exactly what I had wanted, right? That's so
Uh-huh.
and that's all they needed was to be seen, to get permission to like, this is where you can be as Black as you want, whatever that means, right? If
Uh-huh.
you want to be loud, so will the bartender. If you want to get lit, if you want to dance, and we're here to dance. The music is good, the drinks are cheap, the DJs is fire, right? Like you're covered. You
Uh-huh.
just got to show up, and that's what they did. That's what they do, and that's for all of my experiences. You are covered. I got you. Just
Mm,
trust it. Show up.
beautiful. I love that. You shared a lot right there. I'm digesting everything you said. That's beautiful. You gave them space to show up. You had them covered. You showed up as Chrissy because you found the capacity to be what was needed to accomplish what you want to accomplish, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's the Christian that's the introvert, but there's the Chrissy that has the capacity to expand and become what is needed to gift what you want to gift, which comes
Yeah.
out in your business to gift that experience. So you're not you're being multidimensional. You're not
Yes.
just you can go home and be that introvert, but when you're creating this experience, you allow yourself to expand.
Yes.
And you message it to yourself because you tell yourself when it's that anxiousness is coming up and saying, we don't like this. This is not what we do. You said, okay, it's okay. I'm excited. I want to do this. This is going to be great. And you go at it. That's beautiful. I hope our listeners are taking that in, because a lot of times what is required of us to do what we want to do is that we have to become more than we are used to being.
Reprogramming takes time.
Exactly.
Most people listening have had one program playing for 20, 30, 50, 60, 70 years.
Yes.
So give yourself permission that you won't have it figured out for the first 5. I would say that, right? I think 5 has always been that magic number that you hear constantly with so many businesses of like, I was ready to give up. And then I walked into the 5th year and then boom. It's never the first or second year. Some people are just naturally great at selling, or they have a product that's a hot commodity and they do have sales just immediately. Yay for you. But there's always still going to be something that you have to learn a really hard lesson about within your business, because it's there to challenge you. And just be open to it. I'm like, this is frustrating. This is stupid, right? Just name it.
Yes.
This day is stupid. I don't want to repeat this again. And how can I not repeat it again? Or what else do I need? And how can I trust other people? And why don't I trust myself? Right? That was a big question I had to ask myself. Why don't I trust myself? And another thing, best friend said, she made sure I had a conversation with myself about forgiving myself. That was huge. Because I now forgive myself often, right? Just as a mother, as a sister, as a daughter, as someone in traffic, someone wherever I'm at. I just like not beat myself up for things that I didn't know. It wasn't important at that time, and I didn't see that perspective in that moment. And so later, like, okay, I forgive myself, and I just pull off my shoulders.
That's key. I love that too, because a lot of time, to your point, we go through stuff that only looking back do we see, this is what I should have, why didn't I see that? And but we can't hold on to it. You have to release it and forgive yourself, just as you have to forgive others for yourself. You have to forgive you too. A lot of times it's easier for us to forgive other people. They probably didn't know, but we hold on to mistakes we make, and carry them everywhere we go, as opposed to saying, okay, well, if I can see that they didn't know or they made a mistake, I need to be able to see that I can make mistakes too, and I can let that go. Very key, very key.
Right. It's like, who told us when we were younger, you're stupid. You should have known better. You're the big brother. You're the big sister. You should be responsible. You have this put on you, right? And if you don't like the person today who gave you that advice, if you don't want to live their life, you have to let go of what they placed over you. It's no longer our responsibility. But I do want to say something about the cliche of like, we have to forgive others. I'm going to push against that just a tiny bit, just for the person who needs to hear this. I don't care if it's just one. No, you don't.
Okay.
Not everybody deserves your forgiveness, even if they ask. Some people you can just say, absolutely, never again will I forget or forgive. And you can just put that little nugget somewhere in the back. You don't have to let it hold over your life. But there's some people out there who don't deserve it. And their karma is the fact that they still wish that you would forgive them. Let that be their karma. Not everybody deserves your forgiveness, but you deserve to forgive yourself often and daily, every morning, at the end of the day, however you need to do it. You do deserve to forgive yourself more than anyone else in this world.
Gotcha. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. So what would you say, has there been days where you felt like you wanted to quit your business, end your business, not do it again? And if so, why? And how did you handle that?
I know I'm making up this number, but I want to say a good 17 times a day for the last 2 years.
Not a day.
Per day. I was like, what is the purpose of this? I had stable money over here. Why is this important? Absolutely. And it's because I always struggle with commitment. And I noticed that very young when I got my first cell phone. And they wanted me to sign a 1-year contract. I said, which I got monthly. I don't know. And I laugh and I joke like, oh yeah, I have commitment issues. I can't commit. I'm not about to commit. Whatever. Then I turned around and became a mom, an adopted mom, and then a birth mom. So it's like, what is the priority to commit to? This business, I always had one foot in, one foot out because I was leaving. I didn't have the scenario where I'm walking away from a job I hate or something pushed me that I have to do this because life is so miserable. I've been fortunate as every job I've done didn't feel like work. So I enjoyed everything I've done, whether it's being a nanny, being a photographer, when I worked at the supermarket. I love people. So I've always been into customer service. I enjoy the people. I enjoy seeing neighbors. People went to the market during my shift to look for me, right? That, to me, that was a review never written, right? With explicitly telling me like, I'm here because you're here, right? And I was just real quick. I've always been being able, like I said, problem solve. And so my line was the fastest and just always been good at everything that I've done because to me, it was always just simple math or solutions out of this solution was already created in the manual of your job. You just got to implement it. I didn't like life to be too hard. I always felt like life should be easy. Now that I've accepted being an adult, right? Because I went through not wanting to be one. But once I became an adult, I was like, all right, let's just see what happens. And so now, you know, fast forward, having to run this business and it felt like work and I wasn't getting paid for it. Nobody does that. In my mind, at the end of this 2 weeks that I just stressed, there isn't a paycheck. Why am I going to do another 2 weeks of this? I couldn't see it, right? I was just like, who who thought this was a good idea? Whether you choose to work part-time and still work on your business, you're still, what I just said a couple weeks ago, I was asked to be on the panel. I said, I couldn't believe I hired myself to be broke. I would have never done it if I said it that to myself 5 years ago. I'm like, well, I guess we not doing it. But I hired myself to be broke. And that's a hard pill to swallow. Until I could figure out, okay, what do I want out of it? So that's a recent question. Once I went and got the LLC, that was me saying, I'm walking away from everything else I'm doing. Everything's going into this. I'm going to commit to this. But what does that look like? And because I want to commit to this, what do I want out of it? And that conversation has changed a lot in these couple years. Every time I get frustrated, I try to find my list. And if I don't find it, I rewrite it. I say, okay, well then what do I want out of it now?
Right.
I mean, how many vacations? I want how much time with my family or my daughters? I want what car? Do I want a company car? How big do I want this brand to grow? What do I need to pay for? How responsible do I want to be for feeding other families, right? Once I start hiring people, do I want to just do this alone and just be completely booked for an entire year? Or do I trust myself enough to provide stable income to people that look like me who also deserve to tell their stories? And so I would write all of that out. And that monthly number is getting bigger and bigger. And it scared me. And I'm like, oh, but then I'll always get a sign that is possible. I would get hit up and I would get a couple of corporate clients and I saw how much I made in one day. And I was like, what? If I do this a month, I've reached said goal. Okay. I'm here present. So I started like, okay, I'm present. Now what? What do I need to do? And just listening to the cues. There's always signs around us. Something someone
Beautiful.
says.
Right.
For me, it's always a YouTube video. Something going on in my life, a YouTube video pop up like, we were listening. Here you are.
Wow. That's beautiful. I like that. I love that. You said 17 times a day.
Absolutely. And then my girlfriend, I would complain to her because she's also a fellow entrepreneur, also new. She's 2 years in. And she would just say to me, you do know you being an entrepreneur is still a choice. Every day you complain, you can go back to work. And I'm like, shut up. Okay. And I'm like, you're right. And I am. And then I go look at jobs and then I see the jobs and I'm like, I would be at this job regretting what I could do in the business. So let me stop.
Yes.
And another thing that's helpful that I learned from YouTube is a guy named Alex Hermoni, who is amazing. His way of thinking about entrepreneurship and business is out of this world. And he talks about, oh wait, I just lost my thought. Of course. Oh my God, what did he say? He said so much. What did he say? Something so powerful. What did I just say? Oh
you
my
said
God.
you look up the job and then you'd be like, I'll be miserable at this job thinking about what I could be doing in my business.
Right. Right. But how does that tie into Alex? Anyway, maybe it'll come back to me.
It'll come back. It'll come back.
It will have to come back. Yeah.
Yeah,
But just if you're listening, look him up. He's great.
What's his name again?
Alex Hermoni.
Alex Hermoni. Okay.
Yeah. He's amazing.
We'll look
and
him up.
Yeah, he's a good resource. Like there's so many opportunities to and from work if you're commuting somewhere to just listen to something that motivates you.
Exactly.
To be a great employee so that you can turn around and be a great employer who attracts great employees. Right? Like let that energy that you're putting out there to your job come back to you as an entrepreneur. I've always been an excellent employee, too loyal to my job and too little. And so I fully expect, and I'm starting to work with people that get it and they see my passion. They've been watching me for a while. And so I'm happy that it's coming true. Just be patient, write it all down. Even if you lose the paper, you still got it off you the first time.
Right, exactly. Right again. And I love that technique you use to to rewrite. What do I want from this? Yeah. What do I want for this? Because that's what keeps us connected to finding solutions to keep going,
Yes.
What do this was a hard day, this was a hard week, this was a hard month. Okay.
You just reminded me of what Alex Hermoni said.
Tell us.
So he was a gym owner who helped other gym owners become profitable.
Okay.
He said one of the things that he does that helps keep him and his staff motivated is they plaster the before and afters all over the reception lobby, and one wall is covered with before and afters, the other wall is covered with reviews. And so when I'm feeling down, I go scroll through my own social media, or I go back onto Airbnb or Google and I look at my reviews. And I'm like, if I don't continue this business, someone else is going to be disappointed when they come to my city. Yes. Right. And so that's what he said. He's just like, he put it out there. Like we have these reviews, but they're stuck in this phone, they're stuck in this computer. He prints them out and put them all over the walls.
Wow.
That's genius. So I started doing that. Or mostly I go to IG and I just go scroll through my reels and I'm just like, and I see it outside myself. Yeah. I'm like, I would want to go do this. Yeah. So become a fan of yourself again. That's what it helps you do.
That's a great point.
It's powerful.
Yes. And it
I'm happy we
reminds
got
you,
back to that because I felt bad. I couldn't remember what he said, but that's exactly it.
wonderful, and that reminds you of those reviews are what you earned. So you're looking at an experience you gave people that made them feel this way about
Mm-hmm.
what you did. So, okay, if I stop, then I'm taking that experience away from the future people, like you
Yep.
said, are going to come to your city. So this is what I created. That's why I do this, to create
Mm-hmm.
this some more. So let me figure out. I love you said you write yourself a list of what do I want to get from this. So
Yes.
if you had one of those periods of time where you're um, rethinking why you ever became entrepreneur, it's good to go back and ask yourself, what do I want to get from this? Write that list. Like you said, it changes over time. It may be
And don't
different
stop.
today.
Don't limit what
Yeah.
you write. Trust me.
Yeah.
Put a number, realistic number next to it. Like it made me research stuff. Like how
Ah,
much does this cost? If
ah,
I really wanted it, how much? Like if I say I want a vacation, go look up one. And this
got
like
you.
gets me excited, right? I have not been back to Barbados, but I want to go back. And the goal is I want to go back every year. If
Ah,
not just to go to that same beach where I had that thought.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Like I want to
That's
go
your
back
place
and know
of
exactly where I
origin. That's your origin story.
literally my dad's side of the family is from there, but I wasn't raised in the culture. So
Ah,
at the time that I went, I was going through what I call a midlife crisis and just a spiritual rebirth. Like something was shifting. I was frustrating. I was over the city. I was ready to move to Barbados. I was in Barbados, like, how much is the rent? Why is Doritos $10? But how much is the rent? I will figure it out. I'll eat less because I'm on the island. I'm going to be
right.
fine. I'm going to be walking more. But I'm going to afford the rent here. I wonder if they need a photographer. I was like, maybe I could just hook up with a resort. Like maybe the resorts
Right.
need a wedding photographer. I was thinking, I was ready
Ah,
to go.
uh-huh.
But I had that thought of that person in Philly, and I learned to see my city differently, right? That shift change of what
Um,
they thought. I talked to the locals there and I asked them, if this is paradise to me, what do you consider paradise? And their answers, they said Miami and New York. And I said,
wow.
but I can't tell you not to believe that, right? They wanted
Right,
to see
right,
something different. I wanted to
right.
see something different. They
Yes,
wanted to see something different. I can't take
yes,
away from theirs. And so I was like, really? It's like, yeah, you see what we have here, low buildings, beach, blue water. We want to see
right.
this paper in Times Square or
Yes.
yeah. We want to do the shopping. We want to get ahead. I was like, right, okay.
Uh-huh.
So travel means something different for everyone, which brings me
Exactly.
back to the point why I do what I do. We don't know
Yes.
why people are showing up in Philly. I have people show up um, after a breakup. They just wanted something to do, and Philly was a cheap flight. They don't even know why they're there, but they
Oh,
found me.
wow.
Right? I have
Wow.
majority of my guests are considering moving to Philly. So now I get to influence that decision with being really honest about what gentrification is, what it's doing, how to avoid it, how to be a better citizen when you get here,
Got you.
everything. So most of my guests are moving here for work, love, or school.
Ah,
So getting that
that's a
feedback is
great
fascinating.
that's a great concept that you just threw out there when you're moving somewhere new to take a tour of the city
Mm-hmm.
with someone who locally lives there, and
Yeah.
you can get all your questions answers.
Yep.
You know, so
It's I
that's a
save them
very
time and
good
money.
thing. Uh-huh. Exactly. Whether you're moving for personal reasons or for your career reasons or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're just considering it, because a lot of times we consider moving places and we're looking online to try to learn about the place. But the best
Mm-hmm.
resource is someone who lives there.
Yes.
Take a tour with someone who lives there and ask all those questions.
Yep.
I love that. I like that. That's a wonderful concept. I'm going to utilize that myself.
Please do take advantage. As a tour guide, I'm going to speak on behalf of all tour guides. And if any tour guide that's listening disagree with me, just send me a message. We'll talk. Um, once you book, you have access to us. We love our city enough to share what we feel about it with you. Ask us more
Mhm.
questions. Most of
Gotcha.
my guests, they get in front of me and then suddenly it's like, well, we want to go out tonight. What should we do? Where can we eat? And I'm just like, it's a lot. As soon as you book, ask me. I now created a business guide because of the amount of questions I was asked of like, what
Right.
places would I recommend all the time? And so
Uh-huh.
now it's included in the tour. So
Oh,
once you
wonderful.
book, you automatically get a link to a digital
Oh,
guide. And then you can scroll through. And I still say, if you have any questions that's not answered in here, ask me.
oh,
I'm
that's
here. Stuff
beautiful.
is always opening and closing and changing in this city. And I try to
Yes.
keep my finger on the pulse as much as possible. Ask me. Ask me something that's unconventional, non-traditional, or absolutely crazy. I bet you I know somebody there. I got you. And
Got
if
it.
I don't, I'll be honest. I was like, oh, no, not us, but maybe go to Jersey. They got it.
Okay.
We don't have it. I'll send you somewhere that does.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that. Total resources for your clients. Beautiful. So as we close out, it has been wonderful speaking with you today. I love all the gems you shared for our listeners. I know they were
Thank
taking notes
you.
and writing down names because I'm going to be doing some research after this too. I want to ask you just a couple of questions. I think we have really gotten a good feel of your personality and your energy, but I'm just going to ask you a couple of fun questions that we ask so that our
Okay.
listeners can get to know a little more personally about you. We know that you what you where you love to travel, but one of our questions is, what would be your dream place to travel? Either somewhere you've been once or someone where you've never been. What's on your dream list for traveling?
I don't have a dream list. I actually want to be brave enough to open up Google, let Google suggest some options, book it, and
Ah,
go. I know one
wow.
of my friends has done that and she loves it. And so Barbados was never on my list. Like
Ah,
travel wasn't something talked about in my household. We
right,
went an
right.
hour away to the Jersey Shore every summer. We went an hour outside the city to the amusement parks, and that was it. Like I said, I was
Yeah,
the first to do a lot. No one in my family has been on a plane,
got
right?
you.
So
Oh, wow.
I didn't have dream destinations of like, I can't wait to get there. So
Yes,
I
got
want to
you.
just be able to go in Google and say, I can
And get
travel
a
between
rent.
that
Uh-huh.
time and see what happens. And
Beautiful, beautiful. We have to come back and find out how that goes. We have to
oh
reconnect.
yeah.
So when you think about food, what would you say is your favorite food or your favorite meal?
I am fortunate that I don't have a favorite anything, and I've been more open to
Uh-huh.
trying new things. But point me towards spicy, I'm there.
Okay.
If it's spicy, sign me up. If it involves hot sauce, I'll take it.
Ah, okay. Wonderful, wonderful.
Something I could probably eat for a week straight and not be tired of it.
Uh-huh.
It would probably be Jamaican food.
Ah, okay. Nice.
Probably.
Yes. Okay. So what would you say, what was your favorite childhood game?
Oh, a favorite childhood game. It's the same game that I still love to this day that I don't see any communities for it, and it's bingo.
Ah,
Right? You either play it as a kid or you play it as a senior citizen. But in
yes,
between, I don't see any opportunities to win prizes for bingo. And it's driving me
exactly.
crazy.
Yeah, you're so right. Yes. I think bingo is a fun game too. Yeah,
Yes,
it's very
I'm here
simple. Exactly.
for it. I play with
Bingo.
family. I get them to play every once in a while, but outside of that, there's no real opportunity, and it's sad. I'm actually trying to create my own black bingo or hood bingo,
Uh-huh.
so I can introduce it to my game nights. Because I also host game nights and other stuff. So I'm trying to
Okay.
really create the experience where everything is my intellectual property.
Got you. Beautiful. I love that. Love that. Love that. So again, thank you so much for being with us today. Love all the gems you dropped, everything you shared. And in closing, we want to wish you peace, love, blessings. We hope your biggest dream come true and that you have the capacity to receive it.
Thank you, thank you, thank
You're
you.
very
I am so
welcome.
happy you reached out and found me and that I said yes to this, even though I was nervous,
Yeah,
right? It was scared.
right.
And thank you for asking questions and reigniting a different inspiration in me of making me sit and think and reflect on the business again. That this replaces
Beautiful.
me having to go dig through reviews because I remember who I was in Barbados and who I look forward to meeting any day now in this city.
Beautiful. I love it. You take care and be well.
Thank you.